Okay, so we're going to do Lab 4, traffic protection. And so the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to load up my baseline configurations. And that'll be our starting point. So go into configuration mode. And I'm going to do a load override. So this is VMX1 that I'm loading. And that's my base configuration. Actually, I'm loading the configuration up to the next hop self policy. So just going to put that in. May need to go and tweak this a little bit, but that's what I'm putting in right now. So I'm going to commit that, and I'm going to grab my other device, VMX2, and we'll load that one as well. So let's do that one. Load override, VMX2, and commit. Alrighty, so let's take a look at where that has got us up to. So do a few basic tests. We'll just make sure, actually we'll exit out of there. Couple of basic tests, make sure our IGP is up. That's all good. Let's check BGP. BGP is good. Okay, so just the fact that worked, I know that the other one is working as well. So BGP is looking good. That's all good. So let's just see what are we doing next. We are going to check my interfaces. Need to put MPLS on our interfaces. Have I done that yet? No, I haven't. So let's go and do that. In the configuration mode, edit interfaces, and we are going to do GE000 and GE001. 000 unit is 2110, family, MPLS. Okay, so we've got that one done. Let's do the other interface. Two 11001. Okay, so we've got that done. We'll need to set up our RSVP as well. So let's do that. Oops, forgot the top edit protocols RSVP. What's under there? Nothing. Okay, so let's set those interfaces. And we want to put GE000 units 210 under that. And let's include our other interface as well. Okay, there's our interfaces included there. And we also want to set traffic engineering on OSPF because we're going to be using CSPF. OSPF. And we are going to want to set traffic engineering. Okay. So a commit. and quit, and let's see where we're at here. So we'll do a show MPLS interfaces. We should see some, oh, I've got to put our protocol MPLS. Yes, got that step. Edit protocols MPLS. Nothing there. You see, that's what we need to do. Set interfaces, and we need to put GE 000.210 on there, and we need to include the other interface as well. Okay. That's looking a whole lot better. Okay, and we'll do show RSVP interfaces, and there we are. They're up as well. Very good. So we'll do the same on the other device. Oops, configuration mode would be useful here. Edit interfaces. So we're going to do 000 and 001. Unit, oops, set GE 000 unit 212 family MPLS. Let's do the other one. 213 001. All good. Take a look at that. Here we are, family MPLS on those interfaces. That's what we want. Okay, let's go and set up our protocols. Edit protocols. We want to first of all go to MPLS. We'll put our interfaces under that there. And dot 212. Let's do the other. So that one done. We need to set up RSVP. Yep. Trying to get this right. 0 dot. This is going to be 212, and we need to do the other one. Okay, that's that one done, and let's go and put traffic engineering on OSPF. Set traffic engineering. All good. So let's commit that. And let's check it. MPLS, thank you. Yep, that's looking good. And that's looking good as well. Okay. Alrighty, so we've got some base stuff done. What we want to do now is for our exercise, which is traffic protection for this lab, we need a static route. So we're going to set a static route on each of our MX devices here. start with MX1, edit, routing options, where we need to be, and we're going to set a static route. This on MX1, the static route is going to be 10.0.1.0/24. Where we're getting that from? We're getting that from the lab diagram. So here's our lab diagram. Let's try and get that a little bit smaller so we can read it there. There's a lab diagram. So there's our static route information down the bottom there. So for PE1, 10.0.10, and then for 2, it's going to be 10.0.20. So we're going to set up these static routes, and then we're going to export those routes into BGP. So here we go, let's do that. Set static route, and our static route is going to be 10.0.1.0/24. Reject. Okay, and let's do the other one. Set static route, and this one is 10.0.2.0/24. Reject. Okay. All right. So there's our two routes. So what we want to do is we want to export those static routes into BGP. So we're going to go into our policy options. Oops, we're already there. Edit policy options, and we are going to set a policy statement, which is just going to be called statics. So set policy statement. We're going to call it statics. Term 10 from protocol static. And we are going to accept. So there's our matching was from protocol static, and our action is then accept. Okay. And what we are going to do is we're going to apply that as an export policy under our BGP peering, which is our internal BGP peering. And I'm going to set group, which is my internal group. My internal group, and we're going to export that policy called statics down there, and commit and quit that one there. All right, so if that has worked, we should be advertising that static static route out to our iBGP neighbor. So let's have a look and see if that is working. Show route advertising protocol, BGP. And we're interested in, are we advertising it to our neighbor? 168.1.2. And in fact, we are. We are, in fact, advertising that. In actual fact, I'm still advertising the direct route that we previously exported. So what I might do, just for the exercise, is not advertise that direct route. Okay, because in this lab, we only are required to advertise the static. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into my protocol again, BGP, and we'll just take a look at what's happening here. So you can see on my internal, I've got 2 export policies. Next hop self and static. Let's have a look here. Next hop self is fine. Where is my, there's my statics. External group. Next hop self, that's okay. I'm actually exporting that direct. Route. Oh, that's coming from my external group, isn't it? Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's coming from my my routing instance. Let's go and take a look at that, and we'll sort it out from there. That's my routing instance. So we'll go and sort that out there. We're going to go edit routing instance. Where are we going here? Instance, this one I want there. Very good. If we go to edit protocols, BGP, let's take a look at that, and that's the export there. That's where my loopback's coming from. So what I can do is I can delete that altogether, or if I think, well, maybe I want to use that later on, I could just deactivate it. So a couple of ways of going about sort of removing that. So what I might do is just deactivate it. Oops. Deactivate group. My external group, and it's the export policy that I am moving. CE, it's the one I'm, okay, I need to actually type that in, or I might just do that just to make it easier. How do we go? Had a problem with that. Deactivate group, my external group, export. Okay, we'll be just happy with that, I think. Is that going to work? Yeah, that's worked. Okay, let's just take a look at that. And you can see that that export policy has now become inactive. Okay, so that'll stop that exporting. The reason that you may deactivate something rather than absolutely delete it is because you may want to use that later. You may want to reactivate it again. So just for now, I'm going to deactivate that and commit and quit. And if we go back and take a look at what I'm advertising now, I'm only advertising my static now. So I'm no longer advertising that loopback address, which is fine because that's what we need for this particular lab. Alrighty. That's all good. So we'll go and do the same on the other device. We're going to go top, edit policy, options. What have we got there at the moment? It's okay. All right, so we're going to set up a new policy statement here. Set policy statement. This is going to be called statics. And a term 10, and we are from protocol static, which is, oops, get that right. From protocol static, that's our matching criteria, and then was our action is accept, then accept. So there's our policy statement there. Let's keep going. It's down there. That's one we just did. So from protocol static, then accept, and we want to apply that as an export policy. So let's do that. Edit protocols BGP. Let's have a look at what we've got there now. We've got a couple of groups. We're going to apply it to the internal group. Set group. What am I missing there? Set group, my internal group. Export statics. There we are. Let's take a look at that. So now we are exporting. Still got that next hop self policy in there, but we're now exporting statics as well. And before I go out of configuration mode, I'm going to go and take that direct route out of my routing instance as well. So we'll do that now. Edit. It's got the top command. Edit routing instances. That's the one I want. Just take a look at what we've got there. Right now, there's my export policy, so I am going to deactivate that. Hey, come on. Deactivate group. Where am I at here? Oh, I've got to go. Actually, what I might do first is just go into the BGP stanza. Edit protocol. Deactivate group. My internal group. Export. So there we are. There's our export policy. Inactive, we'll commit and quit. And we'll see what we're advertising. And we're going to be advertising it to our here. 192.168.1.1. And there we are, advertising that static route. Okay, let's see if we are in fact now receiving that on the other side. From 192.168.1.2, what do we got? There it is. So actually we are in fact receiving that as well. So there's our route receive protocol that we're getting there. We should be receiving the route on the other device, MX2. Let's take a look at that. And receiving it from 192.168.1.1 is our peer. And what have we got? Yep, there it is. So we are in fact receiving the route from our peer. So there we are, advertising and receiving those BGP static routes. All good. Okay, so got some instructions here in the labs as to how to go about setting up these label switch paths. So in the lab there's some tables going from MXA right through to MXD. We're only using MXA. That's the only devices that we've got. So we've all got an MXA1 and an MXA2. So MX1 is the A1 and the MX2 is the A2 in the lab. So we've got a strict hop and a loose hop requirement here. Okay, so we're going to create an LSP. The LSP is going to be named strict first hop and using the hops that we've been provided in that table. So let's do that. Configuration mode, edit protocols, MPLS. And we're going to set a label switch path here. What have we got in there right now? Just our interfaces, that's it. So we're going to create a path. And this path is called strict first hop. The name doesn't really do anything as far as the functionality goes. It just gives you a description of what the path is for. In this case, ours is 172.22.22.210.2. And then we have got a loose hop right after that. So that is strict. That is our strict hop. And then we have got another one which will be loose. And that is 192.168. Our loose is 5.6 according to our lab instructions. And that's loose. Let's take a look at that. So there's our path, strict first hop, and so we've got a strict and a loose in our path. So let's take a look at the next step, which is setting up in the label switch path itself. So let's do that. Set label switch path. This is going to be PE1 to PE2 -1. It's going 192.168.1.2, which is the other PE. I left out the 2. Here we go. 2. And that's primary. That's our primary, and the path is strict hop, strict first hop. Strict first hop, there's our path. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's our labels with path. There's our egress, 192.168.1.2, which is the other PE. We've set up our paths, and we've applied that path as a primary path to that LSP. All right, let's commit that and take a look at what's... Actually, we've got another one, haven't we? Another one to create first. We're not done yet. Let's set up another. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to turn off CSPF for this particular path. Let's do that. That's what's required by our lab. So let's do it. Here's our LSP and no CSPF. Okay, so let's take a look at that. There's our no CSPF. All right, so we're going to commit that. And let's take a look at our RSVP sessions. So what have we got so far? We have got one up, so it's going to 192.168.1.2 from 192.168.1.1. It is up. Notice the reservation style is FF. There's our out label. So that's what we would expect. Let's take a look at the detail on that. Okay, so we have got state is up. Where's our path? Okay, so there's our record route from self going down the bottom to 172.22.210.2, which was our strict route, and then it's traversing through to the end. If we wanted to take a look at how that relates to our lab diagram. So kind of what we've told it to do is go down. Let's go back and take a look at that again. Where's it heading? It's going, okay, so what we told it to do is go up through the top actually. Going up through the top, and we're traversing the 5.2. As our primary path, P1 to P2. 5.2, so then we're bouncing down the other way. So let's just take a look at where we're going there. We're actually coming in through 172.22.213.1. That's where we're coming in through the other side. So we're actually coming in through the bottom. So our path, in actual fact, is up up around the top, then we bounce right down through P6 and come in through interface 001. And we can take a look at that last hop there, 172.222.207. Where are we going there? Where is this heading actually? 204.2, 204.2, so where? Actually, this one's actually going across the bottom, in actual fact. It's going down here, so it's must be going across 205, is it? Let's have a look at that. No, it's got 202, 203, 204. 202.2, 203.2. So it's actually heading down here, across to there. It's going. So basically, it's going up to the top, and then it's bouncing straight down to the bottom. That's what it's actually doing. 204.2, and then coming in that way. So it's kind of going a little bit different to what this diagram is telling us in actual fact. 192.168.5.2. We're just going to take a look at that path statement again. One 192.168.5.6 is where we told it to go. Oh, okay, that's down the bottom there. Okay, well that is exactly what it is doing. 5.6, that's exactly what we told it to do, and that's exactly what it's doing. So yeah, that was our explicit route object there, which is 172.222.10.2, 192.168.5.6. That's exactly what we told it to do, and that's exactly what it's doing. 5.6 down the bottom. So basically what our route's doing is heading up to P1, heading straight down to P4, going across the bottom and going in that way. That's what it's actually doing right now, because that's exactly what we told it to do. And that's exactly what our lab said we had to tell it to do. 192.168.5.6, and there it is down there, 192.168.5.6. We said it had to go through there. So basically ours is bouncing straight down the bottom and going across that way. Not actually following this red line, as it turns out. So there you are. All right. Well, let's do the other one. See what it does. Okay, so we're going to go into Edit Protocols, MPLS, and we're going to set up our path. Our path is strict hop first. And for this particular one, we're going to 212.2. One 172.212. Got the 22. 172.22.212.2. So we need to go strict, and we will also create a loose hop through 192.168.5.4. .4, that is loose. Okay, let's create our label switch path now. This is going to be called PE2 to PE1. And we are applying a primary path to this. This is going to our egress, which is 192.168.1.1, and the primary path is our strict hop first. And we'll also apply the no CSPF to this one. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so there's our path, there's our egress, no CSPF, there's our primary, and our strict and loose hops are on there. So let's commit that configuration and see what happened. I'm going to take a look at our RSVP session. And that is down for some reason. I'll just take a look at that configuration to see what is the issue there. Five point 4, is that correct? 5.4 is right. 212, that is correct. Still down. Let's do a few checks here. Make sure that's all good. It's all good. Let's have a look at what BGP is doing. That's looking fine as well. Okay, that's still down, so got an issue as to why that is down. Let's have a look at the detail. So this one actually has not come up for some reason. There's our explicit route. From, okay, 1.1 looks right from there. That has not signaled. Ah, now it's up. Let's take a look at the detail again. Now it's up. And now it's come up. That took quite a while to come up. I mean, that probably took a good 2 or 3 minutes there. I didn't change anything in the meantime, so that was just a time lag in signaling up that LSP. Okay, so now it's finally come up. Alrighty, so let's take a look at, so we've got that set up. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at what happens when a interface goes down and just check the results of that. So we're going to go and actually disable an interface. And we'll do that on our PE1, so configuration mode. Okay. And let's go and set interface GE. I'm going to disable GE000. I'm just going to see the effects of that. Just going to take out our path. That's one there. Oops, DIS. Disable, that's what we want to do. We want to disable that interface. And we'll see what the effects of that on our label switch path. What I might do first of all, before I commit it, is we'll just do a show RSVP. Let's do a run show. That's what I want. RSVP sessions ingress. So that is currently up, and I'll commit that change, and then we'll of course see that that is now down because I've disabled the interface that that level switch path was going through. So that is down. All right, so let's just go and undo that previous statement. So I want to re-enable the interface, and I'll delete the disable statement, commit that, which should result in our session coming back up again. There it is, back up again. Okay. All right, so what we want to do now is we'll add in some path protection to that, and then we'll see the effects of that. First, we're going to add a secondary path. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to set a label switch path, and this is going to be our second path, so we will call this secondary, so it's going to be PE1 to PE2 and secondary. Actually, we need to put that in there. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, so we're going to commit, and oops, what we forgot to do, let's have a look. Secondary any path. Yeah, okay. Let's show that first, see what we've got. Okay, I think we need to fix that. It's not quite right, is it? Let's get rid of that. What I need to do is there, secondary, that's what I need. And let's see if that's going to work. Okay, there we are. Let's take a look at that. So first of all, we've got our primary path. Now we've got our secondary path set there. So let's do a commit and quit on that. Oh, we actually didn't define that path. Okay, let's go and do it. Set path, any path. Okay, there we are. All right, there we are. We've got that defined now, so we will commit and quit. Alrighty, that's better. Okay, let's take a look at that RSVP again. Detail. So this time we've got a primary path. Looks like it's down at the moment, but we've got a primary path, and we should be seeing a secondary path here somewhere as well. So far the primary path is the one we're trying to get up. There's our secondary path there. That has now come up. So our primary path is now up. Our primary path has got a strict route on it, so we are forcing that to go out through GE001. Sorry, no, GE000, sorry. We're forcing that to go out through GE000, whereas with the secondary path, we're not forcing that to go any particular route at all. So we don't have an ERO there. So, and that secondary path hasn't actually been signaled yet either. So there's our first path is up, everything's signaled, and our secondary path, where's that at? Not up at all. Let's look at that again. Primary path, and we're not even seeing the secondary path on there at this stage. Let's see if that's going to come back. Nope, so the primary path is up and the secondary path has not been signaled. Okay, so there we are. So the secondary path is not up. Now, if we go ahead and disable that interface again, let's save a bit of time here and flick back to that. Nope. I'll just go into there. Here we go. We're going to set interface. Interface GE000. Disable. That's what we want. Okay, we're going to disable the interface, and let's commit and quit that, and we'll take a look at our sessions. So there is our path is down, and there's our secondary path at this point in time still down. But if we keep taking a look at it, hopefully our secondary path will come up. There it is, it's now up. So our secondary path has in fact come up. So what's happened is, with our primary path, we were forcing it to go through interface GE000. We now disable that interface, so that path has gone down, and our secondary path has now come up. Take a look at extensive. Seeing similar information, primary path is down, and the secondary path is up. Okay. So essentially, the LSP has failed over to the secondary path, which is what we were hoping it would do. So that is an example of a protection measure on a LSP. Just by the fact that we've got the two paths, we can see that that has failed over. Let's take a look at the show MPLS LSP. Extensive. Okay, so what we've got is that the path is up. We are currently using the any path, the secondary path. We've got a situation where we've had one of our paths deselected as active. We've received a teardown message, the path came down, and then the other was selected as the active path, and that then came up. And there's our record route, which is actually our secondary path. coming up there. Let's have a look at that. That's actually GE001. Let's take a look at where this is heading now. Chord route. Secondary path is up. And where's that going out? That's going out, that's GE002 right there. That's our secondary path. Going out the other interface, because we disabled GE001, so there's our secondary path going out the other interface there. And that's our record route, verifying that, going out the other interface. So we disabled 000, and there it is going out 001. Okay. All right. So when did that come up? So there it is there. 4/13/48. $4.13.38. So this was deselected as active at 4:10:16, and the second one went up at 4:13. Where did that kick in? 4:13. So 48. So kind of 3.5 minutes actually. Took 3.5 minutes for the second path to come up. So even though we've got a second path ready to go, it still took 3.5 minutes to fail over to the second path, actually for the path to come up at all. And that really doesn't include the time it would have taken to re-establish and re-put that route back into the routing tables. If we were running a V, it took 3.5 minutes for the second path to come up. Yeah, so this is our primary path going down. So where are we here? Let's take a look at it. Let's go up here. Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah, so this was it being deselected as active right there. 0413 32, and let's go back and look at that. Deselected as active. Hang on. Here, this is it coming up. So there it is coming up. And now here it is, deselected as active. There it is, 0410 16, deselected as active. There's our record route. And you can see it's not working. And then finally, what's happening here? Just looking for when this next one comes up. That's our other path coming up there. Okay, so it took about 3 minutes or so for that to happen. Okay, so we ended up with a secondary path going active. Okay. All right, so what we can do is we can set our secondary path to standby, which means that the secondary path will actually be configured and come up even though our primary path is still working. So let's do that. Let's go back and check where my interface is at here first. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to reactivate our interface. So let's go and turn that back on. Delete that. And we are also, so we'll commit that. Just want to check my ingress. Okay, so what we got here, we have got we've currently got 2 paths that are up at the moment. Yes, we've got 2 paths that are up. I'm just wondering if we're going to eventually pull one of those down or not. Still up. So which one of those is the active path? Let's take a look. Let's do a run show mpls, oops, mpls lsp extensive. So the one that's active is our primary path again. So we've re-enabled our interface. Our primary path has become active. So that is up. It's our route. It's our record route object. So let's take a look at that secondary path. As our secondary path is also up, which is interesting. Let's see what we are expecting to see there. Secondary, let's have a look up here. Let's re-enable it. Just going to check what the lab is telling us we should be seeing. That is down, so yeah, down state, secondary path came up. Yes, that's all good. We've configured our secondary path. And what's happening here? Yeah, so what the lab is telling us is that it takes about 44 seconds before the failover goes back to the primary path. So we're actually seeing that. We're seeing the failover going back to the primary path. And let's just take a look at that there. So what have we got up here? We have got ingress. We've only got one path up there. So one path is signaled as up. One ingress path is up. Okay. So let's go and make the secondary path a standby path. So we'll go and set that. And if we go on to so let's go and do that configuration. Where are we doing that? Here we are. Any path standby. So we want to go. Set label switch path. This is our PE1 to PE2. Secondary. Any path. And this time, we're going to make it standby. Okay, so we'll commit that. And if we take a look at our LSPs, just want to go LSP ingress. Okay, so we've got interesting. We've got our second one is up and active. That's interesting. Yeah, so that is up. That's the active path. Let's take a look at where's our interfaces at? Is that up? Yeah, that is up. Okay, so looks like we've got our active path as being any path, which is kind of interesting. Let's do an extensive, see what we get. All right, so we have got our primary path. Well, the active path is the secondary in actual fact, as it turns out, which is interesting. I think our lab was expecting the active path to be the primary, but in actual fact, it is the secondary at present. It's kind of unusual. So in any case, our secondary path is in fact active at the moment. Actually, no, it's not. It switched right back to the primary path. So it took a little time to get back to the primary path, but now the primary path has gone active. So so basically what I was seeing before was different to what the lab was telling me I should be seeing. The lab was telling me that I should be seeing my primary path as active. I was actually seeing my secondary path as active. So what I was seeing was in fact this path being active, the any path, and then just by kind of waiting for a little while, we switched back to the primary path being active. So just what I'd say to you when you're doing your labs is when you look at it and you think that's not what I'm supposed to be seeing, just give it a little time and it may revert back to what you are in fact supposed to be seeing. I guess what I'm saying is that it just takes a little time for the new paths to be signaled up, for the failover to go back to where it was. Remember, there is a default revert time of 60 seconds built in to this, so it's really going to take a minute anyway to kind of go back to the primary path. So I think it took a bit longer than a minute for me, though, to be honest with you. I think I was waiting there for about 5 minutes before it went back. But it's gone back now. Okay, that was just a matter of just waiting for it to happen. Okay, so there it is. There it is. So it is up on the primary path. If we take a look at the show sessions, let's show RSVP sessions. I've actually got two sessions there on the ingress, and the reason I've got two is because the secondary path is up. And why is the secondary path up? The reason it's up is because we take a look at the configuration. I've got the standby option configured on the secondary path, which means that RSVP will actually signal the path. So it will actually reserve the resources for the path. It'll establish the path. And when I go and take a look at the RSVP sessions, there I am in fact seeing two paths under the ingress, which is what I would expect to see. What that also means is if I was to go and disable my interface again, we will fail over to the secondary path immediately. That should come straight up. Interface GE000 disable, commit and quit. There's my sessions. We can see that they are both down right now. Actually, no, not. They are, yeah, both down. And we'll take a look at it again, and we'll see that the bottom one has come up now. Okay, so there they were both down, and now this path is up. That's my secondary path. Okay, so that one has come up fairly quickly. So if I was to do a show LSP ingress, there's my path up and now going through my secondary path. Okay, so it has failed over fairly quickly to the secondary path, and the difference was the standby option had the path already signaled. Okay, so that sort of greatly improved the failover time. Alrighty, so that's the secondary path done, and in standby mode. All right, we'll take a break at that point.